Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Ford says Ontarians should wear a mask when they can amid rising COVID-19 cases. Talks with striking GO Transit workers moved up after union slumps Metrolinx for delaying negotiations. This is what is happening on Remembrance Day in Toronto. Police charge suspect with second-degree murder in fatal North York stabbing. Man taken to hospital after being hit by vehicle in North York. Ontario government introducing grade 6 Holocaust education requirement in 2023. Panel looks at ways to detect COVID-19 at airports ahead of winter travel season.
These were the headlines and let's jump right into the detail.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford said Wednesday that he is encouraging Ontario residents to wear a mask whenever they were in a situation that is less safe, but stopped short of committing to any sort of renewal of mask mandates in a province. We said from day one, I will always listen to Dr. Kieran Moore's advice, and the advice he's giving everyone, I will give them the same thing: wear a mask when you can, when you are within risk. Ford made the comment at an announcement about the building of a new highway near Bradford Wednesday morning in response to a question about whether the province might consider re-implementing masking education settings. The Premier would not say whether the government might entertain bringing back masks in school, but reiterated the latest advice from Ontario Chief Medical Officer of Health Dr. Kieran Moore, and also encouraged people to go get their flu shots and their COVID-19 booster shots. At a meeting Tuesday of Toronto's Board of Health, Medical Officer of Health Dr. Elaine DeVilla said the city is continuing to follow the provincial guidelines around masking, but remains ready to implement masking guidelines for schools if conditions shift. In an interview with CP24 a week ago, Moore said the province is bracing for a difficult fall and winter and is watching the data on illnesses very closely. He implored those who are most at risk for severe health outcomes to consider masking up as the risk increases in the province. The union representing over 2,000 GO Transit workers will meet the Metrolinx tomorrow after slamming the transit agency for delaying bargaining talks and prolonging a strike they say should never have happened. GO bus service has been suspended since Monday following a decision by ATO Local 1587 members to walk off the job. The strike comes after 7 months of contract negotiations. The Amalgamated Transit Union ATU says Metrolinx first reached out with an offer for the two sides to resume talks on Friday, but ATU Local 1587 President Rob Cormier says after the union pushed for an earlier date, Metrolinx agreed to meet Thursday. Metrolinx, for its part, has previously accused the union of walking away from negotiations on Sunday afternoon. We can't understand why they're delaying to meet at the table, John DiNino, National ATO President, said at a press conference Wednesday morning. DiNino said Transportation Minister Caroline Merlone and Premier Doug Ford should also be at the table helping to get a deal done. He says it's inexplicable that they have been absent over the course of negotiations which have been ongoing for months. ATO International Vice President and lead negotiator for the union, Manny Sforza, said that his team never walked away from bargaining table but had to call for a strike because Metrolinx wanted to keep negotiating for at least another 4 weeks. Sforza said he was optimistic over the weekend that a tentative deal could be reached because both sides had agreed in principle to the three main issues that union members wanted addressed in their new contract. Sforza said the first issue members wanted to resolve was to revive the language in their contract around the contracting out of work, which he says both sides had agreed to verbally over the weekend. The second issue involved half-time work, which Sforza said was addressed in a written proposal that Metrolinx had also agreed to. ATO International President John Costa, who flew in earlier this week from US, said it's unusual for two sides not to be at the bargaining table during a strike of essential workers such as transit employees. Metrolinx has previously said that there will be no GO bus service until further notice because of the strike, but GO trains and UP Express trains continue to operate. Remembrance Day is a day to reflect on Canadians who sacrificed their lives serving the country in war. There are many ways Ontarians can pay their respects to fallen soldiers, veterans, and active soldiers, including but not limited to wearing a red poppy, observing 2 minutes of silence, or attending a service. In Toronto, there are several ceremonies starting at 10:45 a.m. on Friday morning. The City of Toronto is hosting its ceremony in front of Old City Hall with Mayor John Tory and Lieutenant Governor of Ontario Elizabeth Doditswell said to speak at the event. Those who cannot attend in person can watch a live stream of the event online. The Ontario government will also be hosting its annual ceremony outside of the Legislative Building. The Toronto Zoo will host its annual Remembrance Day ceremony at its Waterside Theatre starting at 10:55 a.m. but will be closing its doors 10 minutes earlier. Outside of the Remembrance Day ceremonies, the CN Tower will be lit up in red that evening to commemorate the lives lost. Subway trains will be held at station platforms during that time, and buses and streetcars will stay in front of stop beforehand and remain there during the stop and stay order. After service and public announcement will resume. A pedestrian has been seriously injured after being struck by the driver of a car in North York on Wednesday afternoon. Toronto police said the collision occurred in the area of Bayview Avenue on Ruddington Drive. The pedestrian, an adult male, was taken to a trauma center with serious injuries. Police said the driver of the vehicle remained at the scene. As the busy winter travel season approaches, researchers are looking to use artificial intelligence and surveillance technologies at Canada's airports to help curb the spread of COVID-19. Nearly 6 weeks ago, the Canadian government lifted pandemic travel restrictions, removing vaccine and mask mandates. However, as flu season begins to ramp up and the BQ.1.1 variant of COVID-19 spreads, the question of how to limit transmission throughout airports remains as the holiday season travel nears the innovation economy. Council attempts to answer this question in its latest report and discuss its findings at a panel Wednesday. Members of the panel spoke about the use of wastewater surveillance to rapidly test for viruses including the BQ.1.1 variant and monkeypox. Wastewater detection has become a key way to track the spread of COVID-19 over the course of the pandemic and has been underway as a positive trial program by the Greater Toronto Airports Authority (GTAA) since January. The pilot project collects sewage samples from planes that land at Pearson International Airport to help experts look for new strains of COVID-19, identifying the spread earlier than with traditional testing. One of the biggest benefits of wastewater surveillance is that it is economical and it can test for specific variants of COVID-19, said Robert De La Tolla, a University of Ottawa environmental engineering professor. Spotlight 19, developed by ISBRG, a Toronto-based data analytics company, is still awaiting approval from Health Canada and would be used if mandatory COVID-19 testing were to return, said the GTA.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.